So, without further ado, let's welcome Joe King, Ben Wysocki, and Dave Welsh of the Fray. Welcome, guys.
Thank you.
Looking sharp, too.
Hello, hello. Welcome to the summer.
Welcome to the summer. No kidding. A light that waits. That's apropos in so many ways, the title of that. We've all been waiting for new music. I know the audience has been waiting for new music. Talk a little bit about the road to get to this place. How great it is just to see the three of you guys sitting here together. It wasn't always a sure thing, right?
100%. Yeah. We didn't see this coming. And I think that's what's beautiful about life is you don't know what's ahead, and to be surprised is truly a gift. We couldn't see ourselves clearly. We couldn't see this band clearly. It took a lot of people to help us see ourselves. It took, friends, loved ones, took our fans. The very first show we did, 4 years ago, I was worried about so much, and I looked out in the audience, and they weren't thinking about what I was thinking about. They were feeling their story, our story, and it changed my life, and it changed us. So there's something about the audience that changes the performer. So yeah, just grateful to be here. Thank you for coming tonight.
But that must offer a lot of comfort, knowing that people love what you do and have loved what you've done for decades. How much did that kind of jive with the fact that, wait, I don't know if we're going to do this? Because you can go out there and play these songs forever, and people are going to love the songs, but to be able to embark on something new and then to write new music is a whole other thing.
Yeah, there was a feeling of like we didn't really have a choice, like we, over the last however many years it's been, we have built this thing that we feel responsible to, and like we are stewards now of the Fray at large, and the relationship between the music and our fans and vice versa is something that we don't really have a part in, but we're responsible to carry on. So, in any discussion or conference call or Zoom between the three of us, when there was any doubt as to if there was a future, that was the short answer. It's like, man, it just every time came back to like, we don't really have a choice. It's like this, we kept getting called back to this thing that feels bigger than us.
And yet I've heard this described by you guys as kind of a leap of faith, which I love, because that also means you have faith in yourselves. It's not just a gamble. This is actually, you guys know what you're doing. So there's a positivity to that.
We actually don't know.
Yeah, we don't know what we're doing. But I think we have faith in each other.
Just right before we came up, we were like, I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't map it out. I think you just have to jump in and see if you can swim. And that's what we did. We were like, let's jump into this thing, and played some shows, and then that felt great. And then that was the swimming part. And then we decided that we still love this band. We have more to say. And then we were inspired by other bands in the past and in history that have done this before, and have created and evolved and put out incredible music after evolving, and had 20 years, 30 years after change. And I think change is pretty interesting. It's hard as fuck. But we're closer now because of it, and I'm grateful for that.
That reminds me of the story of Bono and what he meant to you guys as a band and the advice he gave you guys about change, right? And how have you taken that to heart?
You want to talk about Bono?
I love talking about Bono.
Yeah, I know. Dave's our Bono guy. I don't know if you can't tell, but he's got all the books. How many books does Bono have? He's like 20 books out?
I lost count.
Yeah.
There's a lot. One of the things, I don't know if he said it to us. I can't remember if he said it to us specifically or if it's just one of those things you've heard about Bono. But the idea that like a band needs to be big enough to accommodate everyone and every possible idea. And if it's not, it's just not going to work. And that's kind of like the big tent idea with a band. we all bring so much individually into this and have a lot of opinions, and it's basically like a brotherhood, and we fight like it, and it is what it is. But as long as that tent is above us, it can work. You have to put in the work, but it does work.
And then the whole idea of new music, when you said you had to do it, talk about that beginning stages of that and what that was like for you, and when you decided all three of you would have a role in the writing of this, and how exciting that was.
Yeah, I've always been, I think, protective of writing, and I don't know where that came from. In collaboration, I've been protective of other people coming into collaboration, and I had to surrender, a lot of my comforts and things that I built up, and really question and break my own boxes of how I think it should work. I'm opinionated. And I'm wrong 98% of the time. But they truly have made me a better person, a better writer, a better artist, a better performer. I love being in a band because it really challenges you. I for writing, for instance, it was something I just had to surrender, and it's vulnerable because you have to trust. And when with your brothers, you go through a lot over 15 to 20 years. And you carry things, and things that maybe aren't spoken or things that you haven't worked through fully can still be there, or it can be triggered by something. So trust is huge, and being in creative spaces it takes that. And so I think we all had to make that decision the first day we started writing, and we were in Ben's studio in Denver, and we went in, and it's like, okay, no one said it, but it's like, are we doing this? Are we gonna write? And the very first song that we started to write, it was the seed of A Light That Waits, and it became the title track for this album. And it's really symbolic because A Light That Waits is truly about a light that you can't see yet, or yourself, or a part of you that you can't see yet, that maybe you aren't ready for. And that was the very first song that we wrote together. And then from that point forward, it was like, oh, okay, we can write a lot, and there is a lot more for this band.
There was also this evolution where we released an EP a couple years ago that was the first music we'd released in this incarnation, and a lot of that EP we did remotely. We live in 3 different states, and a lot of that we recorded in 3 different states. His vocals he did without us there, his guitars he did without us there, and vice versa. And so there was this very segmented sort of interdependent process. Whereas with this new album, there were some moments where we were all in the room, and one particularly where we were working with our producer Jason Suido, and we were working on a different song that already had a demo, so there was something to work off of, which is always easier, right? It's oh, okay, we're gonna work on that one. And then we'd kind of finished it, and Jason's like, what if we just tried something new, go. And we were like, yeah, totally. And we kind of, I sat down at the drums, and Dave picked up a guitar as if we'd never done it before in front of each other. And he's mumbling lyrics in the corner. He's working out guitar parts in another corner. I'm kind of it was the most awkward, it literally felt like, how have we never done this?
It's like that moment in the Truman Show where they have to start the bus or the boat, and they don't know how to do it because it's actually a fake boat. And so they look back and they're like, I don't know what to do.
But it ended up being so beautiful because I don't think we knew how much trust was between us until you get into a moment like that where it is so vulnerable, and you're like, oh shit, I can't. When we were doing this on our own in our own studios, I could redo it and undo it all day and then send them the perfected drum take, but not when they're sitting there watching, But that ended up producing something I think pretty great and undeniable, at least in the way that the process informed the result. You know?
And being in your studio, were you responsible a little more for making sure everyone was comfortable in terms of things like
Yeah.
comfort and snacks? And things like
Yeah,
that?
and I think I had some pretty good snacks, except there was no bathroom there.
Yeah, you missed
It's
one big
a
part.
porta potty.
It
is a bathroom,
yeah, there is a bathroom.
and it's a damn clean porta potty.
Okay, thank you.
I think it's the
gonna say,
cleanest I've ever been in.
You know how the porta potties have the label of like when it was cleaned?
Special ones.
BW. You,
Those are my initials.
you cleaning up after us, man.
Yeah, well, music business fickle. You know, I've got to
It's got a side hustle.
back up.
Yeah.
But thematically with these songs, just how you guys have changed over the course of these decades and where you find yourself talking, things you were thinking about, writing about, and how that has differed for you guys. You guys have matured. You've been through a lot, like you've said. Were you surprised at some of the topics of the song, some of the themes?
Yeah, one thing is true is that we've always just written true. Like, I think this record is less about questions, whereas our first two records were dealing with a lot of questions. We were searching, struggling with those, and those questions are still there. I think it's more about like who's there with you when you don't have the why anymore, when the whys don't come. And a lot of this record is that. It's who's there standing with you.
But the through line, I think, in the Fray, and you guys will tell me if I'm wrong or expand on it, is that there's this positivity and there's this, this music that's very inspiring for everyone that listens and hopefully for you guys too. And how innate and how organic is that at this point?
Probably so innate I don't have an answer prepared for that.
So organic.
That's the most organic thing ever.
But when you set out to do this, you're like, you weren't trying to make an album that necessarily sounds like the stuff you've done before.
Yeah, I can't think about anything outside the room, and I can't think about what fans will if they'll like it. Like it just will crush the process. So I think we just have to listen to each other, and that's part of creating is listening. When you're writing, you have to listen. And when you're in the room with people, other creatives, you listen. And if they're resonating with something or they're doing something, it inspires you. And then try things, and don't be afraid to try things. Even if it doesn't work, sometimes it leads you to somewhere else that you never would have expected. And it's even better than where you were. So, yeah, I think a lot of this is like learning to listen again and listen to each other, and I'm proud that we did that.
And how comfortable was it from the start, stepping into the singing role and taking that on, your voice, both literally and figuratively?
Comfortable is not the word. I'm starting to lose hair. I don't know if that's a frontman thing of this band. I'm taking supplements.
That's new. I bet.
I feel really beautiful in life right now. I'm just in a good place in life, and it feels like there's just been times, and we've experienced this. We've been through shit, like individually, collectively, and life is just in this blooming place right now, and that doesn't always exist. Yeah. The longer a story goes, we know how it ends. But right now, there's just this beautiful light, and it's a bloom, and it's a season that we're in, and I'm just grateful for that. I'm not taking it for granted. And every night when we get up and we play a show, I don't think I should be doing it. And then when we get out on stage, everything changes. And I'm not thinking about anything else. And the songs take over, and it's the best thing in the world.
Are the same things going through your head now during a song that went through your head 15, 20 years ago? When you're performing?
Sorry, ask that one more time.
When you're up there performing on stage and you're singing a song maybe you sang 20 years ago, are you the same guy? The same things going through your head?
That's a I don't know, Ben. Am I the same guy?
You're the same guy.
Careful.
Yes, you're the same
Oh,
guy.
you guys too. You guys put the same.
But there's no way the same things are going through any of our heads that were going through our heads in 2006 or whatever. It's like, and I'm glad because that's
Those guys were struggling.
yeah,
They worried about a lot.
yeah, and they still are, but they're different worries.
Right.
Yeah.
Your music means so much to so many people, and people take so much from your music. You probably see that every show you go to, and things you hear on social media, and what people tell you at the shows, and things like that. So, about to start a new tour and having a new album out, how much of that is confidence? How much of that adds pressure, knowing that these could be songs that end up being played at weddings, and these could be songs that are there for people's pivotal parts in their life, like some of your other music? Do you think of the music that way?
Yeah, it's good pressure because I think like we were talking about earlier, the fans' relationship to the music is the bar, and that's where the bar is set that we are just trying to meet, And so as far as the new album and the fans' experience of it, the shows, and us doing justice to their experience with the songs, that's our job, is giving them the best experience that they can have with our music. And that is a lot of pressure, but what a great position to be in. It's like a fantastic problem to have that expectation that we have to meet, because that means people care. If nobody cared, there would be nothing to strive for, So it's like, yeah, it's great. But yeah, a lot of pressure for sure. And we haven't put out a new album in 12 years. And when you don't share yourself, with the world in the form of an album, it's pretty comfortable, And we got pretty comfortable. There were like a handful of years there where we were just kind of comfortable, And this experience is not at all. This experience, like, oh shit, we're like sweating, and it's like the record comes out on Friday, and we're like, okay, but it's like it's fantastic. It's like the best feeling.
So then the comfortability of, say, last year when you were celebrating a song like How to Save a Life that everyone's been enjoying now for, it was 20 years, just that celebration, what that was like for you to kind of rest on that and then ease into this. That must have been part of the journey that made this year easier.
Yeah, I mean, to paraphrase Billie Jean King, I mean, it's a privilege to be able to have that pressure. You have to be able to hold those two things at once. The 20th anniversary run last year was, I think, very impactful for all of us, as you can imagine. We got nothing but incredibly deep feedback from basically everyone we interacted with, which is really encouraging and also just a lot to take in. And then you carry that forward and you think, okay, if we're going to come out and put out something else, we have to also hold those moments at the same time and go, it's got to be something that these people want to hear too, and we hope that they do. I mean, there's no guarantee, but you have to be okay living in that influx space.
Mm-hmm. And you guys can go out there and you guys can tour forever and just playing some of those old songs and probably do very well for yourselves. But to push yourselves into this space now, just what this next year, when you look at this tour and what this is going to be between now and the summer, and there's a lot of dates and big shows and stuff like that, knowing that there is new music, does it feel like a new band?
It's the Fray, It's who we are. We are here now, and this is where we've arrived. We're new people all the time. I mean, what is it? Every 9 years, every cell in our body is new. So we're biologically new after a period of time, and I think that's a good thing. So yeah, we're new, and it's the Fray.
When things first really hit big with you guys with the song, and everyone was singing it and talking about it, and how did your lives change the most?
Well, I moved out of my parents' house, so that changed.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
But beyond the financials, which is very important, of
I
course.
bought a
not to make light
Toyota
of that.
Sequoia
Oh, nice.
and then
Nice.
a Subaru Outback. Because you
Colorado.
need that in Colorado. You need the all-wheel drive.
But also in terms of the feedback you get from audiences at that, because that was pretty early in your career to have people really, really loving what you do, and probably you hear those life-changing stories now for decades. Like, how does that change you as an artist? Because not everybody has that.
Yeah, what I'm grateful for is that we were a band for several years before, like 3-4 years before it happened, and that gave us time to develop, gave us time to learn how to play shows, at least try to learn how to write, try to learn our sound. Nowadays, that doesn't really exist. It's very difficult to develop. I mean, you're instantly, online. Everyone has access to you right away. And at that point, we could just do our thing. We could play shows. So I think we had time to find our legs. And success has an interesting impact on you as a person. It may be that people around you change at first because they look at you differently, and you don't feel like you've changed yet. And then ego kicks in, and I'm still working on that.
We all are.
Yeah, and then there's this beautiful time too in an artist where when you're just playing music and there isn't the complications, there isn't the people that are depending on you. There aren't the big sold out things, and you're just in your grandpa's barn and you're like hanging out and just writing, and we had those times, and we know what that was like, and we know what it was like before the spotlights were turned up. And I do also remember the first time we got a bus and how incredible that feeling was. The bus picked us up at his grandpa's barn. All of our moms were there.
Crying.
Dave's mom made a trail mix for everybody.
She did. It was good.
And we got on this beautiful Prevost bus that was like I don't know.
It's beautiful to us.
It was like a Four Seasons. We didn't even know what a Four Seasons was. And we get on this bus, and I remember the bus driver just saying, "All right, we're gonna head out," and we're heading to Spokane. I think that was our first show of that tour. So we're driving on the highway, and I just remember that we just huddled in the middle of the bus, and we were like, "This is fucking awesome." So those are the moments that are
Sure.
I'm glad we had.
And you guys have played some shows in all kinds of crazy places over the years, right? Everything from amusement parks to, I think you mentioned a zoo once, and you started off in like some furniture stores. You guys have great stories.
What a history, huh?
Where will this tour find you? I think there's still a couple fun venues. To put it like,
Oh, for sure. There's incredible venues. In LA,
Festivals.
Are we playing the Greek? What are we playing here? Our booking agents here.
SoFi
UTA?
at the YouTube Theater.
We're not
Oh,
playing.
YouTube Theater. Okay.
But we are playing the Greek in Oakland. If anybody wants
Greek
to
in
drive to
Oakland.
Oakland,
Drive up to there?
Berkeley.
Berkeley.
Close enough.
That's close.
Yeah, close enough. Yeah. We're not in charge of these things.
Your guys' initial success was a different time already in terms of how things were released. And how different does this whole thing feel for you now in terms of streaming, in terms of the way things are done? How much have you let you guys have that? Have you had that education? How much of it does it not matter to you? You're just putting out the music.
Yeah, there's no rules. There's no right way. People that tell you what you should do, they're wrong, most likely. And if anything, fans are the ones that are driving it. And I think the good thing about today is that we can be direct with our fans, and there isn't any gatekeepers anymore. It's just, and there's so much unknown. It's unpredictable. We have no idea. All we know is that we're gonna put out songs on Friday that we love, and they're this story, and they're the continuation of the story of this band, and we're gonna play shows this summer, Other than that, we have no idea.
Well, it sounds pretty good. Sounds pretty good. The next big. There's been a release of the title track already, and I know there's the song "Ice Cold Lakes" is the big next like single, the radio-driven song. If you guys can talk about that a little bit, where that song came from in you.
Yeah, that song really is some of the theme of what we've been talking about is, how you can't, like, you get to a point in life where you start to overthink things, right? Or you're trying to map out the jump, and you see that you need to go there, and you're thinking about like, oh, is it cold? Like, how am I gonna jump? Is it deep enough? Like, and you're just calculating, before you even go. And there's something beautiful about, the wonder and the curiosity and the freedom of like childhood, that you're not thinking about those things. You're just living life, and it's just water, and it's a dock, and there's no second guessing it. You just go. And in a lot of ways, we're allowing ourselves to try to live like that again, to try to find moments like that where, you know what, we can't map it out. We have no idea how this is going to work, but you got to just jump and go in. So that's a lot of what that song is about. I grew up going to lakes. I love lakes. I don't know, if you could live on a lake or an ocean, what would y'all say? Who? Are we lake people or ocean people? Ocean. This is fucking LA.
Southern California.
Yeah. The song's called Ice Cold Lakes.
There's no
Come on,
lakes
give
in
us
LA.
something.
Well, lakes have that thing when you put your feet down in the lake and there's like that muddy stuff.
Oh my God. What lakes are you going to?
You guys have nicer lakes where you're from, I'm sure. Lakes here don't count. And speaking of nature, another song on this album that I love personally is Sea Level Drive. And if you can tell the story where that song came from and why that was important to you.
Yeah, well, apparently I'm a birder now, and I do. I love it. I love watching these little beautiful flying, creatures that can teach you things. I was just hanging with some friends on the Pacific Coast, near the ocean.
Nice.
And just one of the days, just watching this, watching the afternoon, the dusk, and sunset, and these cormorants start coming in and landing on this gorgeous tree on this bluff top, and I'm just watching these cormorants, and they get up there after their day, and they like spread their wings. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that, but they just like spread their wings and face the sun, and they're like drying their wings out from their day. And then I just started thinking like, God, what was their day like? That must be brutal and monotonous, and they have to do it every day to survive. They're going into the cold, they're going to the bottom, they're fighting all the things that will eat them, and trying to survive, and they're doing this, and it's like they get to the end of the day and they spread their wings and they feel the sun, this light. And I just, in that moment, completely related to the worn out nature, the danger, the monotony, and just felt like, okay, there's a song in there. How do I get up and do this again? How do I start new? How do I find something new in this day? So yeah, that song came about on the Pacific Coast.
Oh, nice, so nice. And we talked about this earlier because I work with cormorants on occasion and seabirds, and this actually plays into that. They can actually be they're very aggressive, could be dangerous kind of birds because of those long necks. So they learn that under the sea, and then you got to leave them alone when unless they're in need.
They haul ass.
They'll get you.
Yeah.
What a lovely way to end the record, though, with that song. Like how much you can talk about that. How much you guys get into sequencing and how important that is for you on an album.
Quite a bit. I mean, we're all upwards of 40, so we feel like the long-form album is still important. Whether it is or not is irrelevant, but we feel like it is. So we probably talked way too much about what track 4 should be as opposed to 5 and all that. But, Sea Level Drive, when we got that demo from Joe, it was a pretty raw demo, like like an iPhone memo recording nearly, and the the version that's in the album is not very far from that, because when we got into the studio, we recorded a lot for it that we ended up muting and or deleting, because like we kept trying to produce it and kept trying to, and it stayed in pretty much the form that the demo was in, and that's essentially what got on the album. I think it was true at the beginning of the moment of inspiration for him, and it kind of stayed. It's undeniable. Us not having been there at that moment, you can hear it. It's like, well, there's not a lot else to do here, So.
Yeah, we worked with Ryan Linville on that song and another song on the record, and he was instrumental on capturing that song and encouraging us to just lean into the rawness, the nature of it, and just like play it one time, just like play it. Let's don't try to perfect it. Just imperfections are what's gonna make this special. So yeah, I like thankful that he pushed us in that way. I don't know if he's here, but Ryan, you the fucking man. I owe you sushi.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah, he's raising
oh,
his hand.
yeah.
Yep. Give it up for Ryan Linville.
Yeah, give him a hug
everybody.
on your way out, everybody.
You will hear his name many, many times over the next couple decades. That guy is, you are incredible.
I see you're already sharing bits of songs that maybe are the beginning of the next record, or things maybe you'll be playing on the road. Like, how creative are you guys on a daily basis? Because I see you're still noodling, having fun, and sharing stuff online. Are these next songs that we're could be looking forward to already?
I don't know. Possibly, I think, to speak back to like us feeling like we didn't have a choice, like we are creative beings, and you touched on it's like we could be playing How to Save a Life in casinos until, we're wearing like the Skechers that Ringo wears because he needs the support for his spine. But we didn't want to do that. Like, it was like what drives us is making new music and being creative. So we kind of always are. It goes through stages. There's like states of dormancy, not quiet, but where we're a little more focused on the show. Like right now we're starting to get all our ducks in a row as far as the tour goes this summer, which is a different form of creative expression, as far as that show goes, and bringing in the old songs with the new and telling that whole story. So that feels creative. But yeah, there's always new ideas that are hiding somewhere, waiting for us to discover them.
Do you have a bird I should watch?
There's lots of birds out there. I mean, the gulls here will bite you. Be careful with the gulls. But I'm a pelican guy, so enjoy the pelican. After there's another 10, 20 albums of all new amazing material, does that Ringo Starr story start look more appealing? Do you see yourself there at a casino at some point? Well, that wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, right?
Well, I didn't mean that it's my favorite drummer and my favorite band. I don't really like Skechers, but I don't.
Yet.
Yeah.
Do you think he has a deal, or is he just love?
Yeah, the deals
he
on the
loves
back of all those
Skechers?
magazines and
Yeah,
stuff.
that's true.
I don't know. We don't really know what's coming, and maybe there will be a time where that makes sense, but that's not now. So.
Yeah, and we could all be thankful for the new music, yeah, for sure. We have some questions from you guys. I'm going to read. If you guys are ready for that,
Okay.
we'll switch gears. Mm-hmm. And here we go. All right. So from Mark, is Mark in the house?
What's up, Mark?
Hey,
All
Mark.
right.
That was our manager.
What is something about the latest album that people don't know yet? About this album, about Light That Waits.
Oh, we're really gonna make Ryan blush in here, but this is the first album. Wait, is this true? I need to make
Yes, it is true.
the first Fray album to feature a saxophone.
Wow.
That's right.
And
You can
not
applaud.
just a saxophone.
Not
Yes.
not just a saxophone, but a saxophone played by yet again
Ryan.
Ryan.
Ryan
Linville.
Linville. Everybody.
Very nice.
Now you know that.
Do you have a favorite sax solo on a pop song? Anything comes to mind?
Oh boy. I mean the E Street Band's kind of use of that is the first thing I think of.
Daryl Hall and John Oates
peace.
had some killer sax solos. Gotta say.
Ryan, you got a favorite sax solo? Great.
Baker Street.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
See what he did there?
Wouldn't be Baker Street without that, for sure. All right. From Deb, How do you guys feel about going on tour with Dashboard Confessional?
We are very excited. It feels kind of surreal. My earliest memory of a Dashboard was the aforementioned parents' house. I was in my bedroom at my parents' house. I had gone to a Barnes & Noble and bought a Rolling Stone magazine. And there was some feature on Dashboard in this Rolling Stone magazine. I'm in high school at my parents' house. And he was wearing these shoes that I later came to know were this brand called Camper. I don't even anyone knows Camper shoes. But I thought that was the coolest thing I'd ever seen in my life. I didn't know anything about Chris Carrabba or this band or whatever, but he had these cool black shoes with the white thing on the side. And I went on to own multiple pairs of Campers. I haven't told him this yet. I'll tell him this summer. But
After we got signed, that was the first thing that you bought with your money. right?
probably, honestly, yeah. So I'm super stoked for that.
Yeah.
Awesome.
We've heard he's such a good, like their whole band, but yeah, it's gonna be the camaraderie is what's like special about tour too. Is just like the hangs, and that's what you miss too when it's over. I mean, the shows are incredible, obviously, in the stage, but like it's the stories, it's the crew, it's the relationships, it's the post show hangs. So we're looking forward to that with those guys.
It's a great double bill, as they say. Yeah. All right, Kim wants to know, what is your favorite thing you have done since your last album? It's a number of years to.
You mean in the last 12 years?
I guess so. What was a good year and experience in there for you?
Well,
I made a child,
yeah,
which was good.
right.
You made a pretty good one, too.
Yeah.
He's a good one. I like him. I'll keep him.
We play this Disney World show every year. They bring us in to play Epcot, and our kids love this show naturally because it's almost unfair. We're really spoiling them, but Disney takes care of us and they set us up with these like guides. Has anybody had the guides? Well, it is.
You never go
just you
back
guys.
after you have the guide.
It's yeah. My daughter won't go to Disney World without a guide. We'll be down there for a few days because we get the guide for one day, right? Disney gives it for one day, but we have passes for 3 days. And she's like, "Do we have the guide today?"
Yeah, she's like, I'm not leaving the pool if we don't
No,
have a guy.
I'll just swim, Dad. We're just gonna swim.
One of Joe's daughters, my daughter and his son are like the three amigos at Disney World. They get their like gear on, they're pin trading, and it's pretty amazing. Yeah,
What do the kids think about the new music?
they don't care. My daughter's listening to show tunes, and that's about it. So yeah,
My son was really excited when I got to meet Shabuzi one time. So that's what he thinks about
nice
my
guy,
new music.
really nice guy.
Yeah, nice guy, really nice guy.
He is nice.
All right, Jeff wants to know, what are some of your greatest inspirations outside of music?
Is there anything outside of music?
I didn't know there was an.
It's a boring world.
Lately, film has been really inspiring to me. I really like Oscar season because of being able to just like every once in a while there'll be some movie or director or something in a category that I never heard of. So I just love watching like everything I can. And film lately has been really inspiring. There's a scene at the end of One Battle After Another, and if nobody's seen it, I'm not going to mention what it is, but Dave and I were talking about after seeing this movie. The most inspiring thing as far as an art form goes, I have no idea how cinematographers do what they do. Every role that it takes to make a movie like that came together in this one scene, and I was just like, oh my gosh. The music and the writing and the acting and the cinematography is incredible. It's so inspiring to me.
How do you guys decide who picks the movie on the tour bus?
I'm usually in bed, so
Yeah,
it's
Joe's
these two.
gone. Yeah.
I'm not far behind him, actually.
So it's just me.
Yeah, nowadays you are.
It's just me watching
Dave and I will be back there like, good night, man.
Pearl Jam documentaries, and that's about it.
Ben falls asleep up in the front lounge.
Yeah.
There was a season of
After
time.
you.
Yeah.
There was a season of time where Ben fell asleep. Someone would come out in the bus at 2 or 3 in the morning, and there would invariably be Pearl Jam, very loud,
Or
on the
Peter
system,
Gabriel.
or Peter Gabriel, but mostly Pearl Jam, an empty bottle of red wine, and Ben just like
Eddie would be proud.
From Eric G, I believe this says, what was the creative process like for this album? We kind of touched on this a little bit compared to the last two. If you can put into words maybe one thing about how this one was so different than the other records.
Saxophone.
saxophone.
Yeah, Eric. Intuition, maybe, would be my word.
That was more
That's a
serious
good
than
one.
saxophone.
That's a deep. I know. I've lost it too. I've got a little too deep here and there. Yeah, saxophone. Yeah, I don't know. It just happened. I mean, like honestly, the some of my favorite moments are when we go into a room, and this happened on half of the record. We go into a room with Jason Suedo and another producer on this record who's just phenomenal. He's an incredible person. We go into the room in the morning, have no idea what necessarily we're going to write about, and then we listen, and then something happens, someone plays something, and then boom, the spark happens, and then at the end of the day, we have a song, and it's like, how does that work? Where did this come from? And so, yeah, you lose all sense of reality and self and time, and that's an incredible thing to feel.
How do you feel at the end of a show, and how does that differ?
There's this lavender towel that we wait for. It's on ice. It's like,
Can't tell if he's telling the truth or not.
No, he is.
And I get off stage, I can't wait for that cold towel, and it smells so good. And I'll just put that on my head. That's what I look forward to.
Feeling of being done. But is there a high that you have, like artists talk about, like it's hard to come down from for a couple hours, or?
For sure, a lot of adrenaline. Yeah, it's that like 90 minutes or so is pretty intense. You go through a lot, and you're responsible to a lot. It's like demanding emotionally, mentally, physically, so stimulating, and so yeah, it takes a while to come down from that. But it's the best feeling in the world.
Sure. And lastly, if you guys can collaborate with any other artist, dead or alive, this is from Tiff, who would it be?
Yeah, that's not fair.
Tiffany, are you an artist? Can we collaborate with you? That is a tough one. Paul McCartney is one of the legends. Could we write a song with Paul McCartney?
No.
Probably not.
You know what though? I heard a story.
He just does it so easy. He's just it's like,
Travis, you know the band Travis? The lead singer from Travis did a solo album, and he wrote this song, and the bass part sounded like a Paul McCartney part, and he was like, I should get Paul to play this. And he's like, oh, I can't do that. Blah, blah. And he emailed him.
That's right.
He emailed him, and Paul was like, okay. So he like boom, 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 did his bass thing, sent him files, and like, boom, there you go. So maybe.
We're gonna email Paul.
Thanks to Tiff.
Yeah, Tiff. Thanks.
All right, you guys are fabulous. Congrats on the new record.
Thank you.
It's an exciting night. We're going to take a really, really, really short break, and then we're going to kick off the tour together. Very exciting.
All right, here we go.
Thanks.